Hello, everybody. We were just having a pre-show laugh.
No.
Just a little giggle.
What's up, everybody? It's Geoff Grammer with the ABQJournal Journal, and welcome to the still very generically named ABQJournal Sports Live weekly show. Sean Reider.
Presented by Nobody.
We have a live studio audience tonight, and today, whatever this is.
We got some clapping. There we go.
The applause on.
Awesome.
The applause sign on. Please clap.
Please clap.
All right, so we are 4 days, 3 hours, 23. Wait, what are we? Yeah, 4 days,
Oh my goodness.
3 hours, 23 minutes, and 1 second away from kickoff at Colorado Springs. Some people would say it is the U.S. Air Force Academy, Colorado. It is actually its own mailing address. Everyone says it's Colorado Springs. It is not. Little known fact.
In a moment of desperation this last weekend, watching the Navy South Florida game, texting a good friend of mine, I may or may not have said at one point, I might join the Navy if Navy wins this game, and they did win that game. So I might be on the hook for something more than blueberries or grapes in terms of bets. So we'll see.
Have you ever heard In the Navy by the Village People?
No, but I know Piano Man. He's talking with Davey, who's still in the Navy and probably will be for life.
That's a very good pull there.
Thank you.
But in the Navy,
I'm kind of feeling it today. I'm kind of into it.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with some Piano Man. What's up, everybody? Okay, so we're at the weekly, as we are every Tuesday, we're at the weekly press conference where the coaches, we often don't go over pretty much anything but Jason X talk. But while Sean is skimming some of his production notes from our pre-show production show meeting, I will tell you that Carly Nelson gave her first kind of public appearance as head coach of the UNM women's soccer program, and it was really cool. She's the natural selection, I think, to take over a program that everybody was just feeling really good about. When it's a program everyone's happy about, the coach moves on for reasons that Heather Dyke moved on for that everybody can understand, and she has an associate head coach that had been there 11 years that was very much a part of the building of that entire program, and she wants to be head coach, and she's ready to be a head coach. It was the natural move that they did, and I don't know Carly well at all. I know Heather, and I told Carly this, like, if Heather Dyke vouches for you, that's good enough for me. But the fact that it sounds like you're pretty darn cool, like Heather is pretty darn cool.
That was exactly how he phrased the question to her today.
It's like, you're pretty darn cool. So,
he was leaning up against the corner of the room while doing it too.
That's right.
The classic grammar lean.
Yep, a little grammar lean. Anyway, so Carly did give her first public kind of comments today, and it was really cool. A minute or so in, and you can go to UNM Athletics on YouTube, and the video will be up if it is not already up. I don't know if the soccer one is up yet, but in about a couple minutes, you guys should be able to see a really cool video with Carly Nelson talking as UNM publicly as UNM women's head coach for the first time, women's soccer head coach, and about a minute, if that, into the presser, as she starts talking and giving her opening statement, she gets choked up, and the media facing her and talking to her couldn't quite understand. I mean, that quick into a opening press conference, it might have been she was just choked up, right? She's a new head coach and emotional, but no. In the back, her dad Scott surprised her from Lehigh, Utah, and he is in town, and she had no idea. So her staff put that together. Allison didn't even know. Allison, the sports information director for women's soccer, and when he walked in the back, she got a little emotional, and I thought that was really cool.
A very cool moment. He was absolutely beaming too. He had the biggest grin I've seen in weeks.
So we got Eck here. I mean, Jason. That's Jason Eck, the football coach. We got Sean here to talk about Jason Eck, because while Jason Eck was talking, I went over there and talked with Carly and her dad a little bit, and he just said, look, she's deserving. Said all the cool stuff that a proud dad would say, but also said, like, he's traveled quite a bit for her soccer career through the years, and this is one of the coolest trips that he's made for her soccer career, was today surprising her. So anyway, that was cool. We will focus primarily, as we normally do, on Lobo football and Lobo basketball, but definitely wanted to share that with you because, frankly, it was just awesome. Sean, why don't you set us up with giving us a little bit of the highlights of Jason Eck today at his weekly presser, combo recapping Colorado State win, broke a little bit of a streak, and previewing an Air Force game that, look, every game means something, right? They're still playing for a championship, but like, it's all house money at this point, right? So how does he?
To a certain degree, right? And he did say today in the press conference when he was asked about it, it feels like he's asked about it every single week, frankly, that he felt that this team had kind of met his expectations. So it seems like, they're kind of about to go to the tipping point, right, where it goes in the other direction, and then it does start to feel like kind of like house money. In the the kind of prelude to the press conference, Frank Mercogliano, the SID here, kind of gave like a rundown of, hey, only San Diego State really controls its own destiny. What's up, Richie? For the Mountain West Championship game, I think if San Diego State wins this week, they will be in, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And so they'll be the only team locked in. All of the other, the jumble of 4 and 2 teams, New Mexico, Fresno State, Hawaii, Boise State, those are all teams that all need help right now. And at kind of, if he didn't emphasize that point, he kind of said, we're not going to make the championship game if we don't beat Air Force. So we're kind of locked in on that. And he made it pretty clear that they are still not, they're not, I think they're going to be box scoring, scoreboard watching a little bit to see who's helping them and all that as well. But it's not going to matter if they don't take care of business against Air Force. An Air Force team that, I know some people were surprised yesterday that, the Air Force was initially, I haven't checked it since, that they were a 1-point favorite over New Mexico. That was not really surprising to me, given what this Air Force team kind of does and how they've kind of improved throughout the year. They don't have as many like gaudy point totals as of late. Are you checking it right now?
I am.
Thank you. They don't have as many gaudy point totals as of late. It's been a really good offense throughout the year. But defensively, they've kind of started to turn some things around, particularly over the last 4 games. Some totals are starting to go down. I asked Eck about that, and he said he thinks they're just playing more zone coverage. They're playing more man, and they were just getting burned. And the numbers really reflected that. They've made more of a shift to kind of zone coverage and played a little bit more of that, mix more of that in, and they're not giving up as many big plays. That's kind of why you play zone in a lot of respects.
If I had to guess, I'd say the spread's probably 3.5 at pretty much every place now.
For Air Force?
For UNM.
Wow.
So that has moved. I do think that's an initial look, Air Force should be favored at home against New Mexico. they should be. Too. And I wasn't surprised. Like, I am surprised it's a field goal. I would have guessed, though, that New Mexico would have been favored by 1 or 2. I didn't think it would.
I thought it was going to be close pick'em kind of stuff. Yeah, and 1 is basically that. But
I am surprised that it exceeds that field goal. Once it exceeds that field goal, that's just general thinking. That is the sort of overtake the home field advantage. So that's a interesting line. I mean, look, if you just looked on paper and if this was a neutral site game, you understand why New Mexico would be favored.
Yes.
But this is a unique Air Force team that isn't getting stopped by many people offensively. That's
no, they're not getting stopped. But I think the service academies, and they gave up. I mean, Navy. They gave up. Navy gave up 31 when they played them. But I think Army, from what I've seen, probably did the best job against them. Excuse me, burping a little bit. My bad.
It's great for on-air shows. Sure.
No other show can give you this. But no, I think this is an Air Force team that has improved, and I kind of made that point and said, like, when you play this style of offense, and I did think it was interesting a little bit. His analysis of it, he doesn't think they are kind of the very pure triple option team that you might expect and all that, and some of that is due to over time, they've changed rules on like cut blocking and all that as well. You don't have that as much anymore, if really at all. He told a story today when they, I think they're at, oh my gosh, South Dakota State, and they played Kennesaw State in the FCS playoffs one year. I got to look up what year, and that was when cut blocking was still like legal. And he said, like, we were so beat up, and they played a Saturday game, and then they played North Dakota State, I think, in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, 2009.
2009, he was at like Winona State, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
what was I thinking?
What were you thinking, man? And he said that turnaround, they close win over Kennesaw State, and then they played North Dakota State, and they got absolutely destroyed. And he said a lot of that was we were just so beat up after that. That won't be the case. I think this is going to be a physical Air Force team, but not in that kind of traditional cut blocking. They can bring the wing backs can kind of arc in and get guys. So I don't think it's going to be quite like that. But no, it's clear he's got a lot of respect for Air Force. He said they are going to look up a way to kind of do like the, I think it is, I never covered a road game at Air Force. This may be my first one. I think it is kind of tradition for, visiting teams to kind of do like the team song, the Air Force song with them as well.
Mater,
the alma mater. Thank you. The team song.
The team song.
They sing Piano Man with them.
Yeah.
They are going to do the alma mater.
Navy.
He also told a great little bit about every week. It feels like, and I'll post a video later. Eck is good for just a good little randomly funny kind of tidbit. And he was talking about. I asked him about Tyler Lawrence, who's an Air Force transfer. And kind of, how he's kind of, developed. He started every game for UNM on the offensive line, particularly at right tackle, although it does have some kind of positional flexibility. But I remember talking to offensive line coach, Cody Booth, during fall camp. And he said, it was a little bit of a struggle early on because, he's coming from this option and, he didn't know how to, pass set really. And, we had to kind of teach him all of that. And we don't have to really do that with a lot of guys. And, Eck said he's developed a lot. He said, really, it's spring and all that. I didn't think he was, really in our top 8 offensive linemen. I thought he's probably, our 9th. Once a week, he was good for, to show up to, weightlifting late. And he's like, and I kind of thought at the time, it's probably good this guy isn't defending our country, which was just good, good moment. I think that got all of us in the room. But, yeah, to kind of put a bow on it, close the book on it, put a cap in it.
Land the plane,
all of it.
Air Force.
I don't think this will be a particularly easy game. I do think this is a game that UNM, I do think they should probably win. But I've not made up my mind back and forth on which way this one's going to go and how I see it going. I do think I've been saying it for weeks, kind of pounding the table with it. I think Air Force is a quality team. The record hasn't always reflected that. I think part of that is kind of who they open the schedule with. They're a little bit behind the 8 ball, but I think they're doing some nice things right now, defensively and offensively. And Eck made the point too, the way that UNM is playing right now in terms of how many positions they have given up throughout the season through turnovers and stuff like that, and the way they just generally sort of play, it'll be a limited possession game even more because of just how Air Force plays as well too. So turnovers, are going to be big. I asked him a little bit more. We can get into it later about some of the issues he saw on the offense. Saturday, because I do think the 4 fumbles were a big part of it, the 4 lost fumbles. But at the same time, I think to anybody who was watching, it was more than that. But yeah, with the fumbles, they're addressing it in terms of they want to generate more turnovers. And that's something that Austin Brawley even went to Eck and said, hey, we should do a session on kind of punching the ball out and everything too. And, they said they're getting back to the basics this week in terms of just carrying the football as a ball carrier and just the fundamentals of it right there. And how they, just kind of reteaching it, going back to spring ball and all that as well. So when you do 4 fumbles, when you lose 4 fumbles, I should say, you should probably expect something like that. But yeah, that's kind of what I got, man.
All right, I am done sharing our show on all my socials now. And
thank you, Lobo Fish, by the way.
I will actually jump on pretty quickly to some of these questions that have already been coming in while Sean was
rambling.
Yeah, well, Sean was rambling, whatever.
We're 13 minutes in already? Oh, my gosh. Wow.
All right. So, okay. I don't know what to tell you, man. I guess because I haven't heard back about this. We used to have an option on the ABQJournal website.
Oh, yeah.
Where instead of subscribing, you could buy 1 article a day.
Yeah.
Or you could read 1 article for $1.
Yeah.
Which... yeah, okay, I'll take $1, but I guess they decided to take an awful lot of those articles to $1 articles
to make it really worth it.
To make it worth it. So
yeah,
I guess that's not coming back. Sorry, man. I don't know that for sure. Maybe it is coming back, but I do know in 3 weeks we have a whole new internal platform that we use to put our stories in and do everything. When that happens, the website will change some. I don't know that it'll visibly change much, but some capabilities will. Maybe that's one of the capabilities. So
yeah.
Adam says, can y'all give me a breakdown of what needs to happen for us to be in the Mountain West championship game and to even potentially host it?
Glad you asked, Adam. I was anticipating this exact question, and I didn't want to do what I did on Saturday. I was like, oh, well, I think either team could win, and it would probably be okay.
I'm not really good at this, but
I'm not really good at this.
North Texas?
New Mexico needs to win out. I think there is a very... just
to get in?
I think there is a very... Let's just go with win out, because I think there is
let's just go with
a very thin scenario where they could be 5-3, but I remember running that situation right after the UNLV game, and it took a lot of different stuff. So I'm a little bit that one. I'm not very good at that.
Is it a good sign when your live audience walks out on you mid-show? See you later, live audience.
New Mexico needs to win out. Let's just go with that, right? Take care of business against Air Force and San Diego State. Be 6-2 at that point, guaranteeing that no team in the league would have a better record than 6-2. For them to avoid issues, the Lobos need Boise State to lose to either Colorado State at home or at Utah State, so Bronco could help there. Fresno State to lose either at home to Utah State or on the road at San Jose State.
You're telling me Bronco can get the Lobos into a bowl game after? Oh, no. They're already in a bowl game.
They're already in a bowl game. And Hawaii to lose either at UNLV and at home to Wyoming. You need you really need Hawaii and Fresno State and Boise State to lose. There is a scenario where all three teams, San Diego State, Boise State, and New Mexico, could be at 6-2. And I checked with the league on this. I thought that was going to be a scenario where New Mexico could possibly host with San Diego State. Because if New Mexico beats San Diego State, they win out there at 6-2. Then I thought that was a scenario where they could possibly host. That's not the case, actually. And I think I'm seeing some scenarios on social media that have the right idea but aren't entirely correct because of how the Mountain West does things. I reached out to the Mountain West for that scenario in particular. That one would go to the computer rankings, actually. Even though all the teams have played each other, it wouldn't be like 2023 where I think it was UNLV, San Jose State, and Boise State, and only UNLV and Boise have played each other. San Jose State,
the team that didn't make it into the championship
San Jose
game
State did play
it.
Boise. Yeah,
I don't care what anyone says. I just remember thinking the team that didn't make it was the team that was probably deserved.
San Jose State.
Yeah, is that what it was?
They're pretty good. Yeah, that was Siobhan Cordero.
Yeah,
Brent Brennan and company.
All right, Ken Palm, you're up. Computer rankings make the decision on that scenario.
But that one would go to the rankings, and I think the rankings. I need to do a little more research into the rankings, although I've done a considerable bit. From my understanding, I think those rankings might actually favor Boise State. So I think they really, at this point, I think UNM, they truly kind of need Boise State out of it. They need Boise State to they don't want to be in a situation where they're on the same line as them in terms of record. I think they need, with the tiebreak and all that as well, I think they need Boise State out of it.
How in the world did UNLV get a top 25 vote this week, Sean?
Oh, my gosh. Somebody did?
You put him at 13th, I think, right?
Sam McCune had him at 12 in his preseason poll. I'm going to figure out who did this right now, actually. Good shout, Nate. Nate, sorry I didn't meet you at Aria, by the way. But, gosh, that's crazy.
They're not in the basketball top 25, I can tell you that.
That is, talk about, and I don't know if this Memphis team is going to be all that special this year, but, and listening to Penny talk about it really, Penny seems to be handling it in a very interesting way. But
UNLV not only got a vote, they have 9 points. And their high vote is 20th by Keith Farmer.
Those are people not watching football. Not to call out voters because I hate voters. I call out voters. They
got 2 votes, and neither one of them are 24 or 25. They're number 20 and number 23 are their 2 votes.
Those are people not watching football.
Dan Mullen. They recognize the name.
Those are people not. How is UConn should be getting more votes? I don't know. I didn't have UConn on my poll though, so I probably shouldn't do that. And I hate calling out voters. I truly do. I understood the public negative reaction to kind of Haley Sawyer and how she kind of handled, how one of her polls was dissected for lack of a better term, although that's probably too polite a term. But I was not a big fan of how they're playing some catch down there. Not a big fan of some of the other voters that were going after her. You know who I'm talking about. You know who you are.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. You're not watching the show, but you know who you are.
You know they're watching. You're watching.
Nicholas.
Geoff, 3 or 4 men's basketball games. We shoot 20 plus 3-pointer shots, 20 plus 3-point shots, and shoot under 30% from 3. I get we have a system, and that's what Olin was hired for. That's the first time I've done the Olsen thing. I've had a lot of people email me and say Olsen a lot. But what happens when the system isn't producing results against average?
Before you get into that, I do want to say it is we've said it multiple times, multiple different ways. What a wild time it is that UNM has a rivalry loss, and that is not the immediate topic on a show like this.
Right?
Immediate, hey,
it's true.
And a big week of games this week too. So,
yeah. I don't mean to echo everything Eric Olin says because there's a whole lot of things access wise and stuff like that I still wish was better. But I don't disagree with the coach who has 14 new players, and in the 4th game, 2 of which he's actually had decent efficiency numbers offensively. we're kind of answering questions about like what's wrong with the offense, and I'm asking them, like, I know this isn't as efficient as you want it, but they actually had efficient enough offense to win games against both UC Riverside and New Mexico State, despite the fact that they're not shooting 3-pointers. Like they overcame that, and the offense was good enough to win both times. They had 1.1 and 1.2 points per possession, which is fine. Not great. It's not lighting things up, but like those are above average offensive efficiency games. And we're talking, 4 games in, and not two of these players have ever played with each other other than Milos Vicentich and Chris Howell. And Milos got injured in the first half of the first game last season and sat the entire year out. And it just transferred in from a Division II school to UC San Diego. So it's not like those two have played much together, and he doesn't play much this year. So 14 new players, an entirely new coaching staff, and 4 games in, I just don't think it's worth hitting the panic button on a 3-1 team that lost to what appears to me to be one of the better New Mexico State teams since Chris Jans was there. This is probably, I would say, the best New Mexico State team since Chris Jans was there. So,
you had a lot of trepidation with them, given that who they played heading into Saturday. I don't want to say Saturday. How surprising was Saturday to a certain point? Because it wasn't like a Big Jones game either.
Yeah, I don't mind sharing this. I was texting with Jason Hooten yesterday, and exactly what I texted him. Well, I shouldn't say the word exactly because I'm not reading the exact text, but basically what I texted him was, you take this however you want to take this. Like, I knew that you'd get them to play hard in the rivalry game because Jason always does. Like, these things mean something to Jason. These rivalry games mean a lot to the New Mexico State side. These rivalry games do mean a lot more to New Mexico State than they do to UNM. Lobo fans don't like hearing that sometimes, but Patino didn't care for him. I didn't see a whole lot of emotion like, oh, this is the rivalry that means something to everybody. At New Mexico State, they want to beat UNM so bad because of all the inherent and self kind of created, they get everything and we don't get it mindset and narrative that they create for themselves. That's what they build their identity on, is we do more with less. And when you build an entire identity on we get less than the team up in Albuquerque, you better be excited to play that rivalry game every year. And it is one thing that, frankly, as a New Mexico State grad, I think they go overboard with, because if you build your entire identity on we do more with less, and then you lose that rivalry game every year to the school you will say gets more than you, then it just sort of seems like your entire year and your entire culture and everything you built your we do more with less reputation on is kind of for naught. So that said, they've won it 2 years in a row. So good for them. I told Jason in a text, I knew you'd have them playing hard. I didn't think that meant they were going to be playing on the same page. I thought there was going to be a lot of physical play, a lot of fouling, a lot of guys just sort of running around and maybe bumping into Lobos and hard fouls and stuff like that. And there were some hard fouls, but they were also coordinated, like on the same page. Coordinated is what I mean. I don't mean they were just like physically, they were coordinated athletes. I'm saying like they were on the same page. They had chemistry, and I was surprised by that because all they had so far was 2 non-Division I opponents in the regular season. And Jason, frankly, I don't want to say he agreed with me, but he acknowledged that over the past 2 weeks, they made some pretty significant strides defensively in particular, that he acknowledged, like, had that not happened, they probably, this was a 2-point game with 64 seconds left, and Dayton Albury, the Lobos' leading scorer, commits a foul with 1:04 left, 2-point game, and fouls out, and the Lobos don't score again. And from that foul with 64 seconds left in a 2-point game, UNM ends up winning, or NMSU ends up beating UNM. I just did the UNMSU by what was it, 76-68, so by 8 points. Yeah. So that was a big moment, but it also wasn't a one team dominated the other team kind of moment. I do think this is the best New Mexico State team in a while. I don't think that matters to Lobo fans or Aggie fans. Like they just like the fact that they beat the Lobos, and Lobo fans don't think they should ever lose to New Mexico State, which isn't entirely true. You play a good enough team, a decent team even, enough times you're going to lose. You just don't win 100% of the time. So I will tell you this. Last year's win in the pit over a second-round NCAA tournament Richard Pitino team with Donovan Denton, Nelly Jr. Joseph was far more impressive because that was not as good an Aggie team.
What a freaking game, too, by the way. What a wild game.
This year's game was a good game between 2 fairly evenly matched teams, and when I say that, Lobo fans don't want to hear that they might have been fairly evenly matched with New Mexico State, but I'm telling you, this is the best New Mexico State team in quite a while. This is a top 100 team, in my opinion, which is hard to do out of Conference USA. So it is what it is. They still lost, and they still did it by not accomplishing some things that do concern me for the long term about this team. They didn't secure some offensive rebounds, or some defensive rebounds rather, down the stretch that led to offensive rebounds and putbacks for New Mexico State that I think were kind of the difference down the stretch. They did shut down a 20-point per game scorer in Jamel Hill for the first half, and 4 minutes into the second half, he ended up getting loose for the final 16 minutes and ended up with 15 points. But that's a tough guy to shut down. Like, they were doing some things right, and it was a close game and they lost. But I don't think it's the end of the world for either, or for New Mexico, and I don't think it would have been the end of the world for New Mexico State had they lost the game either. So
you were making me chuckle a little bit with how you, I think we've all seen clips of like press conferences that go viral where it's like, Coach, I know you'd have the boys playing hard today. Like, Coach, I knew you were going to get the boys up, but can you tell me about?
I knew you'd get them up,
Coach. I know you care a lot about this game, Coach.
All right. Josh is in. Josh didn't Coach mention they prep for Air Force in the fall? Moving on, in spring and fall, or am I making that up?
You didn't. That is not made up. They did that in the spring and they did that in the fall. And they led to some awesome days with oh my gosh, we're probably going to see him in practice week. Where defensive assistant Josh Nardo, Luke Nardo. Excuse me, my bad. Was the option quarterback, and it was really fun to watch in practice those days, man. Luke was working it. It's a credit to him. I actually might talk to him today now that I think about it. But yes, they did do that. They took one in the spring, and I believe they kind of did I think it was like a split practice later in fall camp when to try and kind of mix things up a little bit. But that's something that Eck has talked about in the past, right? Where he talked to an assistant at Army at one point. And he was like, how do you guys get ready for other teams with different offenses when you're just going up against the option every day? And he's like, yeah, we kind of don't. We mix it up and we make sure our defense gets good looks during gets eyes on other offenses and how to defend them during spring ball and fall camp and all that as well. So he adopted that idea for his own. And I think he's pretty smart for it. And he said earlier in the year that he's given what San Jose State runs. He's like, we might do that for what San Jose State plays as well. So yes, you did not make that up.
We do the making up around here. Okay.
Yeah, we come on now. We do it.
Do you feel we will contend this year in Mountain West men's basketball? I think they're going to win a championship because I think San Diego State has been who I picked to win it. I picked New Mexico to finish fourth, and it could have been a coin flip in the preseason in my mind with Grand Canyon, fourth and fifth. I would say Colorado State's certainly in that fourth, fifth, sixth range now. Nothing has changed my mind as much as Lobo fans are kind of already hitting panic buttons and saying this team of people you haven't heard of enough and all this stuff. Nothing has changed my mind that they're going to be in the 4 to 6 range. That's what I thought preseason. That's what I think now. And for an entirely rebuilt roster and coaching staff, I don't think that's the end of the world, but it's just not what Lobo fans expected after 2 good years from Richard Pitino after a decade plus of no postseason. I sometimes have to remind people this isn't the Lobo program of old. The finances aren't what they used to be, but they're good enough to compete for Mountain West championships, and they should be expected to be in the running for Mountain West championships most years. That doesn't necessarily include the initial 4 games of an entirely new coaching staff and new roster kind of hiring and all that. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just getting soft in my old age and not as hard on this team as I used to be with Paul Weir's teams and Craig Neal's teams that would piss those coaches off.
You've gone soft, Grammer.
I guess so, but
you've gone soft, brother.
I just haven't seen enough to say this team isn't what I thought they were, which is about a 4th to 6th place team in the Mountain West. Yeah. I still think they are. All righty then.
How dare you not overreact to a small sample size?
Nicholas wants to know what's leading to all those fumbles. And Air Force lost their starting quarterback, right?
Yeah, the fumble, and you got to give some credit to Colorado State on those fumbles, man, because they were punching the ball, man. I mean, I'm blanking on the kid's name. You had at least 3 of them.
Federico.
It was not Federico. Oh. But thank you.
I
I feel really bad. I don't have his name right now. But yeah, no, you got to give a lot of credit to them. But I mean, literally, like X said today, it's like we just need to get back to the fundamentals of like how we teach this stuff and how we do this.
Reading is fundamental.
I'm gonna look this kid's up real quick. It's gonna bug me. As for Air Force, we will see on the. I mean, the Sarka is their quarterback. I don't know. We're gonna see on the injury report this week. I don't think there's much of an update from Troy Calhoun this week.
Troy Calhoun, how is he on injury reports?
It's not super active on injury reports. Yeah.
All right.
So we'll see, Nicholas. But yeah, we'll have the injury report out on Thursday. We'll take a look there and see how that goes. But yeah, as for injury updates for UNM, it seems like they're optimistic they're going to get Gabe and Abe back. Gabe Lopez and Abraham Williams back for practice this week. Apparently, James Lobstein is going to give it a go today. He's still got the leg thing. Obviously, he didn't play last week after the UNLV injury and the bye week in between. But XA, he's a tough dude. Really wants to get out there as well. There is somebody asked me about this on Saturday too. There is an or on the depth chart between Lobstein and or, indicating either or between James Lobstein and Cole Welliver. Somebody asked me, I forget exactly who. I think it might have been Aztec to Tacoma. With Lobstein out, is Welliver like the backup quarterback? And if you watch warm-ups, that's what I thought. And I thought more of that than Toa Fave. The or indicates to me that yes, Welliver is the backup if Lobstein is not available and ready to go. I am curious to see if they get a little bit more Toa action in this week though, because they put him in for one play. And it did not kind of a Lobstein style play, and it did not go well. And they just kind of took it off the call sheet and moved on. So we will see if there's a little bit more of that this week.
Got some more running going on out there.
This is great weather today. I'm a big fan of this. This is awesome.
Nationals for cross country this weekend.
Yes, indeed. I thought that was interesting listening to Gosson talk about that too, because he made the point that last year, he felt they kind of had to empty the tank a little bit to kind of just get to nationals and get to that point. And he said, really they approached, the Mountain Regional with the idea of, well, we want to qualify. We want to be one of the top teams, two teams out, but we kind of don't want to like empty the tank all the way. Like we want to save something. And obviously, I mean, the men won and the women won outright.
Hampton Samuel's second place finish in nationals last year was one of the best sporting moments of the year,
all time,
at least
all time.
All timer Sean is going with
loses
his shoe. I can't remember the exact, but like he ran more than 2 miles.
He's had a lot of like, and not to like, no pun intended, like he's had a lot of like normal races since after like he fell in the 10K final at NCAA championships too and all that. Yep. And I'm just kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Don't do that.
Oh man. I'll be here all week. I'm just kind of waiting for a weird Haptom race. I don't know a lot about this this course in Columbia either. I think it's Gadsden or whatever.
Yeah, it's circular.
Are you sure?
Nope.
Are you sure about that?
Nope. It's long.
Usually they're not like circular. Okay.
Talladega, like. All right.
Aren't you guys glad that like you trust us with like the sports coverage of your favorite teams? Like, aren't you so happy that
Desert Lobo 72 is in. Good luck to Carly Nelson, but this program hasn't finished in the top 3 in the Mountain West since 2022 for a one-bid league. That isn't great. Good luck to her, but I'm not excited. Okay, that's fair. You do not need to be excited, and for a program that doesn't get NIL or rev share money, I think they've been doing pretty darn good, especially with primarily New Mexico kids at a school and in a sport that a lot of people do sort of wave we got a lot of New Mexico kids here that you should be recruiting. Well, they do, and they compete pretty well. So yeah, without rev share, like some Mountain West schools do have, multiple Mountain West schools are getting NIL and rev share for their women's soccer program, and New Mexico is not one of them. That will continue in the new Mountain West as well, because I know Grand Canyon gets actually a fairly significant amount for their women's soccer program. I know Boise does as well for their women's soccer. I think they're doing just fine. And the little bit of fundraising that they are sort of required to do on their own, basically to meet some numbers, they do because they have support in the community from the right people, and that support continues with Carly being hired. You are absolutely right, though. They haven't finished in the top 3 since what would you put 2022? So that's fair. It is fair. They were picked 7th in the preseason this year and did make the top 6 to make the Mountain West playoffs. So Tommy Tom, great show, guys. Jeff.
Thanks, Tommy.
If the Lobos go 0-2 in Kansas City, would their at-large hopes be on life support? Yeah, probably. But I think their non-conference schedule kind of had a feel of life support at large anyway. Anything they're going to do to build up their NCAA tournament hopes is going to have to be done in the Mountain West this year because the non-conference sucked. It just did. Picking off one of these teams would be great. Picking off Santa Clara and VCU actually are two top 100 teams that are going to be quad 2 at a minimum. The Santa Clara game, because it is in the pit, might be a quad 2, but their ratings by the end of the year might have made them a quad 1 had it been a road game. I think VCU could have ratings that make that, because it's a road game, a quad 1 opportunity. So yeah, Nebraska and then either Kansas State or Mississippi State is day 2 opponent. You get one of those. If you get both of those, I think you're actually sitting really good. If you don't blow it in league play, you get one of the two, you're doing fine. And I just think that I don't anticipate they're not going to be favored in either game this week in Kansas City. So if they lose both of them, yeah, I mean, Lobo fans are going to be upset because that would be 3 in a row, of course. And who have they beaten? 3 wins and 3 losses, three better opponents they lost to, and the 3 worst opponents they beat. But UT Arlington's decent, by the way. Their numbers aren't bad, but nobody's going to get excited about the fact that they beat UT Arlington. So. All right, Jeff is in. Jeff says, "Hey, Jeff, are you flying to Kansas City for men's basketball game against Nebraska?" I will be there. I will fly in tomorrow. You know what I haven't done yet? I haven't reached out to the NABC, but I think I'm going to try and get Craig Robinson on a 10-minute, 15-minute podcast.
Hey!
Because Craig Robinson will be out there. He is the president of the National Association of Basketball Coaches.
That'd be cool.
I want to talk to him about such things as college basketball coaches' role in the current landscape. It is interesting because
I thought you were just going to stop at college basketball, and I was that would make sense.
It's one thing for a bunch of coaches to continually kind of lament the just college football as well. College coaches can complain as well as anybody about things they actually take part in. And what I mean by that is college coaches will gripe and moan about this NIL world and about the transfer portal, and it'll be the same coaches that make sure that they take full advantage of NIL and all that stuff. It's not like they have a problem participating in the things they say are killing their own sport. At some point, if it is that important to you to build the sport up in the right way, and they call themselves the guardians of the game at the NABC, if it's really that important to you that you go out publicly and continually say, this is ruining the game, look at all the people, the great men who are retiring from this game because they don't even want to be a part of this anymore, well, then why do all your leaders continue to participate in that structure and not try and change it? Craig Robinson, I could, if I even talk to him, would ask, a lot of coaches are turning to politicians right now to try and somehow save them, right? He, if you don't know, has some connections to some politicians. I'm curious what he thinks the NABC's role would be in turning to politicians to try and help them, because he does have a unique insight to whether or not politicians should be involved in this kind of stuff in his family. Next up, Lobo Leroy is in. Every week I see those college football playoff odds go up 0.1% or so. Do you believe in miracles?
I don't.
All right.
I don't.
Do you believe in miracles?
No. No, I don't. And I think there's just so much that would need to happen for it to even be a remote possibility. You would need half of the American to just go to prison, and just stop playing.
Prison?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Gambling scandals. I think there's a lot to be really hopeful about with this team, and a lot of things where you can kind of look and say, man, these percentages, this, I don't know, there's a chance that are a lot more. There's more of a chance for those kind of possibilities than the playoff at this point, and just kind of and how the committee has looked at things too. Even if they put themselves in that position, I don't know. So yeah, that's what I got.
It is.
You're telling me, right?
It is. The answer is yes. Tuesdays, it is Tuesday already. And not only is it Tuesday already, but we are 4 days, 2 hours, 44 minutes, and 16 seconds away from kickoff in Colorado Springs between the Air Force Falcons and the UNM Lobos. By that kickoff, we will have already had 2 more Lobo men's basketball games in Kansas City.
Crazy.
They will be 5-point, at least, I think 6-point underdogs probably in both games on a neutral court. So, yeah. Richie, we need a lead to make him get out of that option offense, to make him drop back.
I don't disagree, Richie. I think starting fast in this one would be pretty good. That would be very helpful in a lot of respects, especially for a limited possession game. I think that would be an easy path. I don't think it's an easier path.
He says we need a lead.
Richie's going to be out there?
No, but isn't that what you just it sounded like you corrected him, but are you agreeing with him?
No, I'm agreeing with him. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said I disagree.
No, I said I don't disagree.
You don't disagree.
I don't disagree.
Well, I didn't hear the
Richie, I'm sorry.
No,
I don't disagree. I think that is a good formula to win this game.
Others might just say I agree.
Yeah, I don't.
He doesn't disagree.
I don't disagree.
I'm not saying no.
I agree. No, now you're bogging down the show. Come on, man.
I had a cat named Blueberry Muffin.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I think as Zach would say, I don't think that's kind of the only path to do it, but that more than I could use a bad pun there. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
More than one way to skin a blueberry muffin.
Sorry.
Blueberry Muffin Grammar.
Sorry,
was her
Blueberry
full name.
Muffin Grammar.
Rip Blueberry Muffin.
Okay.
20-some years now, 30 years. I don't know.
Time flies.
Time flies when Blueberry Muffin's gone.
We had an interesting dessert spread at the luncheon today.
So they did put out some cookies and some brownies. 2 desserts that they offered today at the
really good wraps,
presser.
by the way. Really good roast beef wraps. Those were delicious.
Cookies were good, man. I didn't try brownies.
Well, the thing that they did is they just dumped no offense. The people that provide the food every week are awesome. I'm not condemning them. I'm just condemning the arrangement.
A little sprinkling, garnish, if you will.
No, they just dumped raspberries on them.
Today was raspberries.
It was crazy. I was like, I'm not touching that. I want no part of that.
He won't even eat a chocolate chip cookie or a fudge brownie if it has touched a blueberry or a raspberry.
If I had in like 2 days, yeah, I'd eat it. But I had breakfast this morning. I was in no hurry.
Did you crush an avocado?
No avocados today. Wow. No avocados.
Jeff's in. Scheme question. Yes, we are there with football now. Rocky once said the option always wins on paper. Does the 4-2-5 fit? Or do they switch to a 5-3-3?
This is a good question.
How do we stop the option?
This is a good question. I think this is like and that kind of alluded. This is a slightly different option than probably the more traditional arrangement that Rocky was talking about. This I do think from what they've from what I'm remembering of how
you remember.
I'm trying to remember exactly how Bronco and all of them played them, but this is not a Bronco mental health team. I am going to talk to Spence Nowinski today. I will pose this exact kind of similar question. How are they going to do that? I would imagine it's more of a 4-2-5 though, just given how they do want to be multiple. But I think they have found a good degree of confidence in kind of playing that base defense and making that work. And I do think they actually have some of the guys up front to kind of make some good things happen there in that regard. And I think
key to shutting down the option is stop the dive.
Stop the dive and
period. That's it. Stop the dive.
Stop the dive.
That's all you gotta do.
That's it. That's all. Did you play in the option in high school? Were you in option school?
So you could have stopped. Did you play? And anything after that, probably. I didn't play much, but I practiced.
So
practice my ass off.
Eck had a funny comment today too. I asked him, I was like, "How much have you gone against option teams in the past?" And he said yeah, when I was at Wisconsin, we played Ohio, and they were they were a Wisconsin team. Brian Cosgrove was the. I don't think that was Frank Solich at the time.
It was all still Nebraska guys, though. They left from New Mexico State. A bunch of guys that got fired were Tony Samuel's New Mexico State team in the early to mid 2005 era when Hal Mummy took over at New Mexico State. 4 of the guys who were all Nebraska ties under Tony Samuel, who's a Nebraska guy, went and coached at Ohio.
But this was before that.
Okay.
And he said he got some defensive tips this week from Brian Cosgrove, and he said it was great. We beat him 52-0, and he was I was very grateful for that because I actually got to be able to play that week. Zach was not a guy that played a ton.
That was well before 2005.
Yeah. So yeah. Great question, Geoff. We will. I will pose this exact question really to Spence today.
What's happening with that interview with the new NMSU AD?
Yeah.
I can tell you. I reached out to the NMSU AD last week and heard back from his administrative assistant with an answer to a question. So did not get to meet him Saturday. Had Have not yet spoken with the new NMSU AD. Do not have anything set on the calendar for a scheduled or for an interview. Sure hope it happens. That is the update. Would you rather be a Lobo fan or an Aztec fan now?
What would you do?
I don't know, man. Like somebody asked me about being a fan over the weekend, Aggie or Lobo basketball and all that. And like, I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to be a fan of anybody but the 49ers right now, really.
I'm going to stick with, football sucks, but I'll stick with Michigan State. So that's fine. I like what I'm seeing out of basketball.
Hey,
Rich.
Hey, Sean. Wondering about your post about the Highlands running back who's entering the portal. Is he a guy who might potentially end up at UNM?
I think he's a guy that could end up at UNM. We'll have to see what happens with.
That's a hot take.
We'll have to see what happens with this running back room kind of after the season and all that as well, right? Because I'm not saying this is like me, like with sourced information and all that. I do think if you are a guy like Scott Trey Humphrey and all that, and this is pure speculative stuff, I do think if you're a guy like Scott Trey Humphrey and you know you can go somewhere and get a ton of carries and all that, I think he's been bought in here, frankly. Like, I think he's done a really nice job of all that. I do think you probably do kind of weigh those options and figure that out a little bit more. UNM also does have some young guys that I know they feel good about. Darian Bowers is a guy that they never got to look at, really, because he tore his ACL right before fall camp. So I think, Bowers is a guy they're wanting to take a good look at as well. We'll see what happens with, I believe Bankston has another year left. I'm pretty sure he does.
I got to tell you that I don't know what the NIL situation specifically will be at UNM.
Yeah.
If you're keeping a couple of your running backs,
we're talking about Jeffrey Jones, by the way. This is the Highlands running back.
Jeffrey Jones might be too pricey to bring in as a third or a fourth running back. If you are confident in a couple of the guys you're bringing, like he might have played himself out of what UNM's willing to pay for a guy they're not expected to bring in as their number one. And I just don't think that UNM is going to be looking for a number one running back this offseason.
And I don't think they will either. And I do think, do you think it'll be, without knowing exactly how they pitch things to guys like, this last offseason, all that in the portal and everything as well too, guys that they had connections with as well. So you're kind of like, well, it was working out when I was, playing on them before, like, oh, it was working out when I was, playing against them in conference. Do you think it'll be harder for them to kind of pitch the kind of running back splits and all that as well? Like, hey, we do like to ride the hot hand and all that, but we like to have a lot of guys and stay fresh and all that as well. That's something I'm curious about to see how that does affect.
Yeah,
and guys like Jones, like, you're seeing this week a lot of, guys from Stony Brook and, which isn't D2. That's FCS, I'm pretty sure, correct?
Stony Brook.
But you're seeing a lot of like D2 transfers kind of like make announcements this week. And I do think that kind of goes maybe against UNM to a certain degree in the sense of like you're putting your name out there earlier and all that as well. The price is just going to kind of go up, by the time UNM's really kind of locking in on the portal. And that's not to say that they're not keeping an eye on things. They've made some offers on guys that are currently in the portal since the season has started, but we'll see.
Got some good news for everybody.
Yes. Wow.
I don't think this is sad at all.
Hi, boys. Sad to say it is Schnitzelkraut and Spätzle mit Jägersauce again. Must be a Tuesday thing. We're kind of mixing it up. Lobos have been nervous in the fourth. Hope you're well. Hope you're well too, Mom. Hope everything goes well over the next couple of days and all that as well.
There's no reason to be sad about a Schnitzelkraut night.
There is not with Hunter sauce, dude.
Okay, so let me see if I could. Let's see if I can get through these words here. Spätzle? Spätzle.
That's how I say it.
Mick Jaeger. Is that Mick Jagger?
With like Hunter sauce. Jägermeister?
I know Jägermeister.
Jaeger? Must be a Tuesday thing. I'll be checking in later today, Mom.
Well, Leroy's back in. Bronco, I'll forgive you for everything if you knock off Boise for us. The Pac cannibalizing itself out of a championship game is traditional anyway. It is interesting how this is kind of going down the stretch with There's
a world where like it could be Hawaii, like UNM, hey.
Like I wouldn't have predicted this. Like, well, first of all, what everyone would have predicted would have been UNLV Boise State. That was the number one, number two. That
maybe San Jose State. And we didn't. I don't think we none of us saw this kind of. San Jose State just fired Odom yesterday. Like, not Barry Odom, Derek Odom.
Oh, I thought they might have fired Barry.
Yeah. Barry left Purdue in October.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah, that would be, that would be, I believer, I don't think you're the only fan that kind of has an eye on that one. Like, hey, you're probably not entirely forgiving Bronco, but
I'm gonna yuck on some yums here.
Yuck on them.
All the Pac-12 fans that keep saying, "Yeah, look at the Mountain West doing this, and this," and like,
I don't think you're yucking yums.
And building a case for like how bad the Mountain West is and the future Mountain West, and all the Mountain West fans saying that about the Pac, the new Pac schools that are leaving. It's been pretty even, like overall.
Yeah, really,
pretty even. Which does beg the question: what are you breaking it up for? Like, I'm fine with that.
And I think we can I know Boise fans are just absolutely going through it right now.
The renovation's getting to it.
Oh no, it was for the first time that was off my brain. They're going through it why didn't Cutforth throw more if you made him throw in the fourth, even though the game was already in hand and all that as well. And I think there's a lot of people that were yucking on Maddox Madsen, who I think would be really happy to have Maddox Madsen out there right now. So I do think that's an effect on Boise and all that as well. But yeah, it's interesting times, man.
All right, let's see here. I got a new comment that I just put up.
All
right, let's see.
Wow.
What other comments do I got here?
I need to just stop yelling into the mic. Oh my God. Whoa.
All right. I really am pulling up a comment here.
What's coming?
All right.
Dead air, man.
Dog and Dog, I believe there's a scenario where UNM could lose to Air Force and still host the championship. I don't think you could lose to Air Force and host the championship, can you?
I can't say with certainty. That's not the scenario I saw where they would be in the championship. Dog and Dog, I think it's probably out there. I would not bank on it at all. I don't know.
Sean, quit ranking the University of Michigan so low. These feelings are getting hurt here.
Mom, I gotta figure out who's butthurt. We can talk later about who's butthurt about that. But I don't know. Maybe they should watch their favorite football team a little bit more. Yeah. Wow. And how they kind of got punked by USC.
The new Albuquerque Journal website / app in December will be vastly different and improved experience for readers. I'm not sure whether the $1 per article is an option on the new site.
Is this the first comment ever in the history of Albuquerque Journal Sports Live with a semicolon?
Wow.
I think it has to be.
Wow. You know what I have to say to that? It doesn't really mean anything.
The man has his bits. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. Are you looking forward to that?
The new website?
Yeah.
Yeah, right in basketball season. I want to learn a whole new system on how to upload everything.
Oh, you're a pro. You're a vet. Come on,
me.
Man. It is funny. Just when I think everybody got figured out blocks.
I know,
just when everybody kind of figured it out. But no, it's a good change.
How much money would I need to donate to UNM men's basketball to give up a home game and play a true road game?
Ooh.
They make several $100,000 home games, so I would start there. But you could if you want to donate a couple $100,000, they might be able to buy a good home game too for you. So, you can go that route.
You have options here.
Yeah. I will tell you this. What football is doing will help people like you who don't want UNM basketball to play nothing but bad opponents in home games.
Yeah.
Because if football starts making some revenue on a consistent basis, not just every 5, 6, 7 years, maybe
just flashing up and then dipping back.
If football starts making a little more consistent money, then it does get. And I'm being serious. It gives more flexibility to UNM basketball to be able to schedule in a different manner. It just does.
I'm really curious who back in Michigan is that upset with where I have the University of Michigan. Really, it's kind of bugging me.
You were responding to your mother and said, "Who's butthurt?"
Yeah, who is I don't know. They almost lost to Northwestern. Okay. Anyways,
we got the former X member who is no longer on X. Joshua Rivera is saying, "Not playing home and home with the Aggies is terrible. Can't tell me giving that game up and then playing New Mexico Highlands and Alabama State at home instead is an improvement." I agree with you, and I would put the odds in the 90s that it's going to return to two games next year. Although neither AD will commit to it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Both schools need that home game every year. They just do. and it's a fun game for the fans. Like, whatever.
Good atmosphere in the Pan Am.
Yeah.
It seemed like it on Saturday.
No, it was good.
I mean, it seemed like a really good one.
Best attendance they've had at a game, non-conference game in over a decade. The student section did student section things, which is expected of a student section. One sign that I thought was, even as an Aggie, and I lean towards give the kids a break kind of thing, but there's one sign that I thought was just over the line. But anyway,
I think I saw that sign.
Yeah. Is the transfer portal time period the same for all NCAA sports?
It is not, and this year it's changed for football. It'll be January 2nd to, I believe, January 16th. I'm pretty sure, given the Google search I just put up for that, just to make sure I had that right. And then it'll be different, obviously, for teams that have like coaching changes, and then they're playing in the college football playoff and all that as well.
Playoffs.
Because I think the national championship is January 19th. I'm pretty sure.
All right.
So it's basically it closes basically towards the end of the portal. Let's
go with it.
We'll see how this affects a lot of schools. UNM, I think the semester starts on like the 11th and all that, so they shouldn't have much of an issue getting guys in school. That much of an issue, I should say. I never say never, but certainly not like
January 19th is a Monday night. That
is the national championship. Yeah.
2 days after the Lobos play at San Diego State.
It's in Miami, I'm pretty
sure.
In
basketball. Well, no, they're playing at San Diego State the January 17th.
I'm talking about if UNM makes the college football playoff and then plays in the national title game in Miami.
The basketball game is still in San Diego.
Okay. All right, we'll have to figure that out then.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, it's not the same for all, baseball and softball and soccer and stuff like that. They have different periods and all that. I don't even know what it looks like for some other sports.
Here's another, I don't know, kind of answer for you. When will the NCAA decide if they will remove the redshirt option and give all athletes 5 years to play?
They tabled that pretty recently. They kind of took a good hard look at it. I think the D1 Administrative Council, and then they took at least.
I don't know if Eddie Nunez is still on that or not. I think he may be.
Yeah, they took a good hard look at that, and then because that's why you're seeing a lot of people talking about it, and they
not because of Eddie Nunez,
not
because of a recent decision.
No disrespect to Eddie, but they kind of penciled that for a good bit, and I don't know when they're going to get back to it. But it does seem like we're probably progressing to that. Well, I mean, if I'm reading this correctly. Give all athletes 5. Technically they have 5 years to play for at this point anyways.
Yeah.
That's basically what they already have.
Word for word on what you're asking is, I think like the question at hand isn't if they have 5 years to play for. All of them have 5 years to play for right now. The question being decided by the NCAA is, should all athletes just have 5 years to play?
Exactly. Yeah.
Regardless of how it happens, and if they only play 2 or 3 years, they have a 5-year window to play their college sports.
How does that work out with like medical red shirts and everything there too? So yeah, that's going to be a couple even UNM players have posted about it. Brett Carr, who I remember was a guy that tweeted about it. So yeah, I don't know when they're going to get back to it, but I'm assuming they will be getting back to it kind of soon.
Leo's going to be in Kansas City on Friday with his New Mexico flag. Those are the rules. I'll look for it, and I will gladly take a picture and post it. Adam Lopez is back in on X. I saw a couple of commitments to Lobo football today. Thoughts? Question mark?
Relatively expected in the sense that I believe that they were all on visits this weekend here. So no, I wouldn't say any like true surprises, but I think they're pretty good commitments. One of them I know for sure, and I will have more of a recruiting roundup this week. One of them I know for sure is a 3-star prospect, but this is I wouldn't say surprising in the sense that these guys are better than probably some of the usual recruits UNM has been accustomed to getting over the past couple of years, or more than that, frankly. The staff has been recruiting at a pretty good clip and identifying guys at a pretty nice level and getting them. So I'm curious to see. I gotta look back. I gotta look at a couple other things for the story, but no, I think this is still some pretty good stuff happening on the recruiting front. What were you saying?
Earlier in this show, Sean went ahead and kind of rained on some parades a little bit, and the 0.1 CFP chances. You kind of suggested, oh yeah, the Lobos probably aren't going to be. You said something to the effect of,
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. I would remind you.
The fact, it's just to me,
and by I mean Joshua would remind you.
Yeah, you're right. Was it not like point? It was like lower than 0.1.
The Tigers' playoff chances was 0.1% last year.
Somehow lower than 0.1. Yeah, it was low too. You're right, Josh. So I won't. Now, Josh, I think you remember how we all felt kind of watching that Tigers.
Sean's amount of yelling into the microphone today is at an all-time high.
I'm kind of going. Maybe move it back a little bit.
He is all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
Yeah, Josh. No, you're right. I should have learned my lesson there. So that's a good point. I agree. What a freaking run that was.
Juan, that is a good question. It's a question I asked, and his answer to me was like, "What do you think?" And it's just like that. I kind of nailed the impression, I think. I was like, if you ever had grape nuts, who do you think? Well, the grape nuts aren't actually grapes there, Sean. So have you ever had them or not? And the answer is no. He is not.
No.
What kind of cereal do you like?
I like Captain Crunch.
With fruit berries?
No.
They're fruit berries. The fruit berries.
I like a good thing of Count Chocula when it's around.
Captain Crunch, the colorful ones are called fruit berries.
Yeah, I just get the regular Captain Crunch.
Just the yellows.
Yeah, just the yellows. Come on, the old school.
You've never had the fruit berries because you don't like fruits or berries, but you'll eat Captain Crunch.
I was on a kick when I was younger. What is it? Eating a bunch of and this is when I was really young, eating a bunch of Special K, which is just loaded with fiber. So I was obviously just kind of crapping my brains out when I was 9.
You don't get content like this anywhere, folks.
You don't. I don't know why I was so into it. Yeah, I like Cocoa Puffs every now and then. Reese's Puffs also
Kicks. Did you ever do Kicks?
I've had Kicks. I don't think I don't remember the last time I really had them though.
Interesting.
Probably when I was way young. Oh, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is probably my favorite.
Yeah, I stand correct. I said interesting, and I didn't mean that.
Mm-hmm. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Paul Weir would love you guys. Nice deflections. Fair enough.
Would Paul Weir love us?
Yeah, he was all about deflections. He picked a different starting lineup from game to game based on deflections in the previous game. Whoever had the 5 most deflections, regardless of position.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
It was, as you can imagine.
Doesn't sound like a great model.
He wanted to emphasize deflections.
That's
How do you
awesome.
emphasize it? Starting lineups. 38 starting lineups that year, and they played 31 games. 38 might be an exaggeration. All right. Hello, I'm here.
Jeffrey.
All right, we can get started, guys.
All right. Let's get into it. What's that
tweet? What's up, everybody? This is Geoff Grammer with the ABQJ Journal. We can get started now because Jeffrey Holland is on.
What's that tweet? It's like, oh, fourth quarter's on, Knicks game's about to start or whatever.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll count it. I ask a lot about this topic, but do we know how much money might be designated for the remodel/upgrade of University Stadium? We don't yet. I will tell you that the leaning heavily into lawmakers is ongoing, and a lot of those lawmakers that were at this game, at this stadium for that New Mexico State sold-out game that saw all the problems, I think are still very receptive to throwing some money at both universities this offseason. I don't think we're really going to know until the Legislative Finance Committee kind of comes up with some suggestions. And while we are already in mid-November, and the legislative session for the new year isn't too far off, I would say I would say we're still probably in a space where we're going to have to wait till probably February till we know how much money they might start immediately throwing at a renovation. Also, do we think University Stadium will get full facelift it deserves? Obvious improvements aside.
Probably depends on.
Yeah, I need to talk to some lawmakers. I need to ask them because I honestly think there's an appetite among some to do a really much needed, long overdue. I mean, look, if you punt it, if you will, for another decade, say another 10 years, then we're looking at a 70-year-old stadium, right? We're already in the 60s. This is.
Hey, you need to do something soon just to get the obvious improvements and basic amenities.
And I'll add into that, this state is looking at one of its biggest across the state, one of its biggest venues for events, including the State Fair. Yeah. We're looking at a Tingley Coliseum, an Aggie Memorial Stadium, and a University Stadium. That all three have sort of been put off for an awful long time, and there's money now, and if you don't use it now and don't do some of those big major renovations or even God forbid build a new thing, now when you have the money, then when are you going to do it? The state is starting, I know it was sort of a political thing to say when people wanted a stadium built for soccer, but at some point we probably are pushing up against is New Mexico ever going to invest in its facilities for sports entertainment? And maybe the answer is no. But if you're ever going to do it, it seems like now's the time you're gonna actually have an appetite and the finances and the means to do it. And it is long overdue at both universities, both Division I FBS level universities is what I'm talking. And frankly, just to throw in another one, I know not a lot of people on this show probably care that much, but Tingley Coliseum too. Like Albuquerque needs something like Tingley Coliseum either rebuilt or at least cleaned up a bit.
I'm looking out in the field right now. I mentioned that Luke Nardo was the option quarterback for UNM, who's obviously not a quarterback. He's a staffer. And I don't know if I can say this because I'm not allowed to report on practice, but it does not look like Luke Nardo will be the quarterback this week for UNM scout team running the option. Adam Lopez, if the college football does I lisped really hard there. Does the college football playoff expand to 24? What do you think, man?
No.
I don't think so either. I think there's a little bit more of an appetite for 16, but I think there's also an appetite for 12's fine. Like
go back to 4.
12 is, I think 12's fine.
You know what, go back to just the bowl system where you have an AP champion and, whatever other champions you want. If you want a USA Today Coaches Poll champion, do all that. That's what I want. Chaos.
If Navy wins the American, could have lost to Army in the Army-Navy game, push them under the next G5 conference championship champion, which I assume would have to be JMU in this hypothetical. I think we talked about the scenario last year. Like, I think the committee was asked about it last year because Army had a similar deal going. Army didn't make the playoff, obviously, but they had they had another loss before the conference championship that basically took them out of the mix. And if I remember correctly, the committee said they wouldn't punish them for that, but I don't remember exactly because of where the Army-Navy game is positioned. So that's a really good question. I would have to double check that, but I know that's something that was talked about last year. And I think it's good, frankly, that we have 2 years of 12-year playoff and like both this, two of the 3 service academies both years are have real viable cases for it. But we'll see. I think does Navy plays Notre Dame this week, right?
In the Navy.
Navy. They already played them. Excuse me. That's their only loss. My bad. Excuse me. That's one of their 2 losses. You know who else they lost to?
North Texas.
Thank you. So yeah, my bad there. But yeah. Literally, that's what I got.
Why doesn't UNM promote giving to the NIL during football and basketball games? Have QR codes easily accessible so fans can use their phones. Just to be really nitpicky specific, it's not NIL anymore, it's rev sharing, right?
Yeah.
So basically what they would need to do is to ask fans to either donate to whoever they want to locally that might still be doing NIL, or donate to the Lobo Club and the Lobo Alliance, which does kind of earmark money specifically towards the rev share for players.
In this scenario, you would probably have the QR code for the Lobo Alliance.
Yeah, the Lobo Club, Lobo Alliance. It's a fair question. Yeah, they probably should and could do that a little bit. But I can tell you at every game, they are on full. It is a work day for everyone in the Lobo Club, and they are schmoozing the donors they have and trying to get what they can out of them and keeping them happy to stay a part of their of whatever the team is, whatever you want to call it, the Lobo Club, and just sort of the family of donors that they have. So at games, they're trying to keep the donors that are already coming to games happy, and then in between games, they're trying to find new donors and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but that said, Gilbert, that's a good question, and frankly, probably one I'll ask Jalen Dominguez about.
I do like the idea of just an awesome a kill shot stretch in a basketball game, and everybody pulls out their phones and then yay,
pass the hat,
pass the hat. Damon Bankston, 80-yard TD. Oh, there we go.
How do I research old Albuquerque Journal articles from the 1990s?
Newspapers.com.
Yeah, newspapers.com is the best. Yeah, newspapers.com is the best way to do it. The library at the Journal's long since been closed, not only to the public, but even it's hard for reporters to get in there now. And
I've never even accessed the library.
A good library. It's a good thing too. And then obviously I do believe some public library. I don't know which one in town, but there is a public library that has a good archive of all newspapers, including Tribune, through the years.
I don't know if I should say this. I think there is a plan to export the Journal Library to another location and have it in use there. So
sure hope so.
Yeah.
All right, Casa del Verde Entertainment is in. We were at the Pan Am for Charlie Harrison game against the Aggies in 1979, the infamous Lobogate year. The fans were horrible. The fans were horrible back then too. Signs saying Ayatollah. Oh yeah, that's right. I've heard about this. Ayatollah Khomeini got his diploma at UNM. There were some. Yeah, look, I was in that student section once when we were
79. I'm kidding.
Not in 79, although I was I was here in 79. Just not
you brought
at a
blueberry
college.
muffin grammar to the game.
Yeah, I did. But I've been in that student section and yelled some pretty nasty stuff, and also have been at games where some nasty stuff has been yelled at the Aggies too. Some of the signs Saturday I wasn't all that pleased with as an old Aggie fan, Aggie grad, retractable dome at University Stadium, probably.
Why the heck not?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards it. Why not? Did you guys see the game played in Madrid, Spain? Is it Madrid? In Spain this weekend, and the way they use the grass, and it goes 4 stories underground where they have some UV lighting for their grass.
Oh yeah,
and they have some special grass and all this stuff. Yeah, all right. Jeffrey's back in on YouTube. The state is also flush with more funds than we've ever had. It makes sense to improve both major college football venues. I agree. Like
this is your soapbox, Grammar.
This is it, man. Like I just think now's the time. Now's the time because it's something that probably could have been done. You could have argued that it's something that needed to be done 20 years ago, and then 10 years ago, and then now, and 10 years from now, it'll be even worse. At a time that it's kind of been pushed back for so long, and you now have the money, man. It seems like you should probably do it. Larry's in. Any word on basketball recruits? Hopefully outside of San Diego or the surrounding areas. I have no word. I imagine there's some San Diego, Southern California, and some Division II recruiting going on, Larry. That's all I can tell you. I certainly know your opinion on the recruiting, and it is all fair game. It is fair game. We'll see how they do this year. I know I'm still far more optimistic than you that they won't have a horrible season. But you're not wrong on the recruiting front. Like the recruiting didn't exactly kill it on the recruiting trail this offseason. It did come at a unique time in terms of what was going on in the landscape last offseason, where it was turning into the rev share era, and a lot of NILs were dumping money while UNM was basically just putting together a coaching staff. And it wasn't a great time for a coaching change
or whatever.
A lot of front loading that went on.
Buzzword that was around that time.
Yeah. So look, it is what it is. I will at some point, and I will give him more than 2 weeks into his first season on the job. But at some point, I will ask Eric Olin, in an honest moment, do you think you should have had somebody on staff from, be it New Mexico or the Mountain West, or somebody that's been through the New Mexico State road trip at some point? There is nobody that's gone through the New Mexico State game. I don't know if they had Ryan Berryman from administration go over there and talk to him. I don't know, what they're going to do come Mountain West play. Like, are they going to say, hey, when we go to Air Force, here's one thing we do, or we will be branded as very unpatriotic and all that is we stand on the court, win or lose, we stay on the court until they sing the alma mater. When we go to San Diego State, the show sits right there by your visiting bench. So when you come out, just make sure you don't swing too far to the left and get on the court, because then you'll run into their student section. When you're at the Spectrum, they put on blue medical gloves because it makes their claps louder. All that kind of stuff. Now that one they would know because they actually, UC San Diego played at the Spectrum last year. But I still wonder if they should have hired just one spot anywhere up and down that whole coaching staff that was, somebody who's been through anything around here, anything. Somebody that told them, the media wants to come to a practice more than October 15th. For those scoring at home was the last time we were allowed at a practice. Meanwhile, we're watching a Lobo football practice right now, and Sean gets to go to football practice 5 days a week.
We're watching the pre-practice.
It is the pre-practice.
Pre-practice.
So. Tim Fuller, I apologize. That's our fault.
Oh, yeah.
My apologies. We're on HD today.
Sorry.
We are on HD. Jesus, Tingley Coliseum is such a dump. A real multi-use 15,000 to 20,000 seat venue is so needed. We could probably get the NCAA back. So that's true. So the Pit's never going to host an NCAA tournament game again. Yeah. And we're also not going to get rid of the Pit. So what Albuquerque could use if they ever want an NCAA tournament game again is UNM would host an NCAA tournament game, but at Albuquerque's multi-use facility, wherever it be, downtown, at the side of Tingley Coliseum, whatever. That's what they do in places like Tulsa and stuff like that. Tulsa has hosted NCAA tournament games, but not at their actual arena.
Even Greenville, South Carolina.
Greenville. South Carolina.
The well.
Adam is on X. Grammar, since you're new to TikTok, you should do a day in the life on game day.
Are you posting on TikTok?
Yeah, I got 6 or 7 things on there. Yeah, I've posted a few things on TikTok. I have had the account for 10 years, I don't know, but just started posting this week. So a day in the life, the problem is the day in the life of a game day for me is because I actually don't have to start covering the game until I usually leave my house about 5 for a 7 o'clock game. And like until that 5 o'clock thing, like I'm not doing a whole lot. So I'm not allowed at shoot arounds. UNM doesn't let me, go watch anything to do with the game. So there's not a whole lot that I have to do until I show up to the arena, at which time then I kind of sit down and start a show. So my game day is not that exciting. Hopefully on the road at some point I can maybe go to a practice.
You should probably just try and do it this weekend, frankly. This week, I should say.
Yeah.
Like
this week I can do a little more.
2 days in the life.
Lobo Leroy. They're going to be calling University Stadium the new SoFi soon. World Cup 2038 in Albuquerque.
That'd be something.
Yeah.
That'd be something.
I think that's safe to say. What's Lane's value looking like to P4 programs?
Again, he's pretty loyal to Eck, but it also seems like he'd get himself a pretty big bag somewhere else next year. I don't think he would be a guy that like a Darian Mensah, where it's like you kind of have to go in the portal because like it's like you're going to get that money to like change like your family's life. Like Ross Dellinger wrote like a really great story about Mensah and him going into the portal and going to Duke and all that after Tulane last year. They really kind of illustrate a lot of what that's like for a quarterback. I don't think he's in like that upper tier. And like we're hearing talk about like Sam Leavitt entering the portal and all that as well too. And Leavitt will probably be like the most coveted guy in the portal if he does indeed enter. I don't think he's really, frankly, I don't think Lane is really close to all that. I would be very surprised if he honestly did enter the portal. Honestly,
you don't think he's going to move the chain?
I think he's going to move the chain on the field. I don't think he's going to move the chain.
He's not going to move the house, though.
I don't think he's moving the apartment. I don't think he's moving the house. I don't think he's moving the ranch, the homestead.
Move the chain, yes. Move the lane, no.
Yes. Wow. No. Yeah. I think there would be some P4 programs that certainly like what he would bring to the table and all that as well. And I think he's a guy that could play at the P4 level, but I don't think he's like an automatic, like clear cut. Hey, this guy is a P4 starter. Like this is a guy that why is he playing in the Sun Belt or whatever? Like get him out there. So.
I'm going to have to disappoint you, USVA guy. Opinion on the strength of recruiting from Coach Bradbury with this year's team. The team looks far more skilled and athletic than any other team in past years. I haven't seen them nearly enough as the guy who travels with the men's side of things and has covered the men's side. I don't see the women's team nearly enough to really be able to answer that. Our good friend JJ Buck and our colleague Ken Sickinger would be the right guys to answer that because I just have not been able to see them. I've watched half of one game on the Mountain West Network. It was
New Orleans
when so I watched some from The Office. I guess it was the New Orleans game, but I was watching for 6-7 after 6-7. I was watching for 6-7 after the Tomasov Bullion got 6-7 on his free throws on the men's game the night before. Adam Lopez is in on X. What about Jackson? I get his dad is a big factor, but he could get a SEC bag. I wouldn't blame him. Yeah, so
I don't know.
SEC bag. That was an interesting one.
I don't know if he would be. And look, I will on Thanksgiving Day. Actually, I will have a nice long read about Jackson Eck and Jason Eck and a lot of stuff like this. I'm very excited to have that story out.
They eat cranberry sauce. I can guarantee you that.
That they do. But I don't know if he's an automatic SEC guy. I mean, when he was in the portal this last year, right? He did get offers from like Michigan State, Stanford, and like pretty much all the programs he did get offers and at least posts from were all FBS schools and all that as well. So I think it's been pretty clear that he is like an FBS guy, and it was clear last year. And I think it's honestly he's gotten faster from last year to this year, so that's kind of emphasizing it a bit more. I do know that after UNM played Michigan, a couple guys in the Michigan staff ended up following him on Twitter, and that's something that Michigan is kind of known to do. I know they've done that with other Mountain West teams that they've played immediately after all that as well too. So no, he's a guy that I think will get some. And
you wonder why they're mad at you in Michigan.
Yeah, and Eck is also talking a bit about this as well. And I think we've talked about on previous shows. Like there have been like agents reaching out to Jackson, being like, "Hey, like I can get you at a P4 program, man. I can get you set up out there and all that as well." And he said he just doesn't respond. Like, he shows his dad every now and then, but it's like, no, it's yeah. So I don't think I don't think he's really pushing to move up. I mean, I would be curious what opportunity would be the one for him to kind of say, you know what, I do want to pursue this at a higher level. But I think he's pretty happy here in a lot of respects.
It's a real unique challenge, the Jackson Eck question, because for this conversation, we're assuming Jason Eck will be here next year, obviously, right? So yep. Jason Eck is here next year. Jackson Eck, what should he do? Should he stay and make the money that he deserves and can get somewhere else and eat into a lot of the NIL money and rev share money that would go to the team that would help his dad in year 2? Should he go for him? You know, look, his dad might be making a hell of a paycheck here and an even bigger one down the road somewhere else. But that's not his money necessarily. Like, I don't know what their family dynamics are in terms of giving kids money and all that stuff. Like, he has a chance to make some really significant money himself. Should he do that? It's really easy for a lot of people, a lot of fans. I know they do it a lot with basketball players, to say things like, you know, don't mess with Happy, because that was the big famous Steve Alford thing. Well, Steve Alford also made in his time at UCLA more than he would have made to this point at UNM. Yeah. Like, he still wouldn't have caught up yet. So Donovan Dent made $3 million and wasn't going to make $3 million.
No, you were the one who was poo-pooing. It's like, well, it's not really a true $3 million. It's not like you get a blank check. It's a lot of it's their apartments and, you know, car leases and all that. Like,
and he made a lot more of those apartments and car leases.
It's true. I think it's a little disingenuous to just kind of pop the $3 million number out on all that as well.
$4 million it was. And I just, like, I think Jackson Eck, if he leaves, people here will be like, oh, what do we read into that? I don't know. At some point, sometimes it's just, I don't even want to say a kid. He's in his 20s. Like, he's a grown man. I mean, it is a young man in his 20s making a decision that's like probably the most fiscally responsible thing he can do is go make some money somewhere. I doubt he leaves his dad. I think he will be playing for his dad somewhere next year. I think at this point, as you know, I don't have any insight on this, but as of November 18th, I will tell you, I think Jason Eck and Jackson Eck are both going to be in Albuquerque next year. So there you go.
We'll have a long read coming out soon that I hope answers some of these questions a little bit more than us just kind of saying, well, with no insight into it.
I'm just guessing here.
With no, how many more you want to rip through?
We're good.
I'm not in a hustle to get out to practice, but
we're caught up. We're caught up. So I appreciate all you guys for being here. So you guys know, basketball front. I'll have something later today on UNM women's soccer coach Carly Nelson. I will have something later today on Lobo basketball. I will have something tomorrow on Lobo basketball previewing their Nebraska game on Thursday, and then on Friday they play either Kansas State or Mississippi State, coached by one Chris Jans, former New Mexico State coach.
Wait, what day did you say the consolation of the championship
Friday.
was?
It's Thursday and Friday, back to back.
Friday, okay.
I am going to, not necessarily word for word, but I did get a text earlier. Heads up, as I read word for word. On TV for this week, NBC has relaunched NBCSN, that's the NBC Sports Network, and with NBC relaunching that just this week, the Lobo games this week in Kansas City will be on YTTV. YTTV? I don't know exactly.
Did they relaunch that through Peacock?
It's only on YTTV and Comcast right now. Oh, I'm sorry. NBC Sports Network is only on YTTV and Comcast. It's not on DirecTV.
Is YTTV it's not YouTube TV?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
I've never seen it called YTTV.
YTTV.
Is that I guess that's the acronym. Though.
Is it?
It makes sense. Like I had no idea what that meant. But that's YouTube TV. Okay, so NBC Sports Network is on YouTube TV and Comcast. Wow, that hurt. And
goodness.
But this is all in addition to Peacock. These games will also now be on NBC Sports Network. A lot of people that don't have Peacock as an app or we're maybe going to get it whatever.
Restraining myself from not making a Peacock joke at this point.
And anyway, Peacock and NBC Sports Network will be the Lobo basketball games this week. Just got 4 more jumped in since I said none were there. As always, thank you, Adam. Thank you,
Adam.
And Richie, thank you too. Thanks for making the hour before I go to lunch fly by. I'll see you guys after the game. Richie, I don't know what your schedule is, man. At some point, I gotta know your schedule. Like, we have weird schedules, but like, I don't know what your schedule is.
People are talking about day in the lives for Grammar. I want a day in the life for Richie.
Richie,
that's what I want.
Richie, I think you're always working. And I think you work afternoons,
Richie's
nights.
hustler.
I think you work afternoons, nights, and all weekends. I think we always catch you anytime we're on, no matter what time our show is on. I think we're catching you at work, and I appreciate you for always being here.
Richie, thank you, man.
People don't really understand the impact of having this kind of season has had on NIL money. Can you elaborate? Yeah, it's fair. Can you elaborate on this and possible bowl victory and what that would mean financially for the program? That's a good question for the Jalen Dominguez's of the world, the Kurt Roths of the world who's still involved, although I couldn't even tell you what the hell Kurt Roth's role is. I don't know.
Not a lot of role clarity, but he's still on the sidelines every week.
Yeah, he's still there every single week. And that is a good question, because it's no big secret that even going into this year, as there was some excitement with Bronco last year, the money that people were actually look, there might be a lot more excitement in the stands over here, but the money that was coming in to actually put towards rev share and NIL was still predominantly going towards basketball. Yep. I am curious how much,
the proven commodity, at that point. And
I'm curious what that may or may not have changed this year. So Jeff, that's a good thing to check in on. JT's in letting us know that YTTV. What is that crazy thing?
YouTube TV.
What's this YTTV? These kids these days and their acronyms.
TV.
Is that LOL?
JTTV.
Right. I've heard that. Yeah, they're still going to be on Peacock. They are just now also going to be on NBC Sports Network.
Do you have Peacock?
The Life of a Walmart Employee. I do not have Peacock. I don't think.
My boy Dom's Peacock. That's all I got. Yeah. But I also have YTTV.
I got YTTV. I'm a YTTV guy, and that's why
I might be switching off YTTV at some point. If any listeners have any recommendations, like Hulu or something. No, it's so much more user friendly. But like this stuff, not having ESPN for that minute was pretty stupid. I was not a big fan of that.
Gilbert's in. Kurt Roth's 505 Sports Venture Foundation still exists. I give to it along with many others. I will say technically, he would not call it Kurt Roth's 505 Sports Venture Fund. He may or may not still be involved in it, but on paper he sure isn't, and he would be in trouble if he was. So yes, 505 Sports Venture Foundation still exists, but Kurt Roth is no longer. He did have to step down his role on the director, the board, whatever his role was. He did step down. Hulu's gone. Now it's Disney Plus.
Oh yeah. Whatever happened to his cable?
As a standalone
cable TV.
What happened?
What happened, man?
3 channels when I grew up. All right, guys. Thanks for. We are now at 4 days, 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 32 seconds until kickoff.
Time flies, man.
Can't believe you said that about Blueberry Muffin Grammar earlier.
Sorry.
See you guys on Saturday after the Air Force game. I will have some pregame shows from Kansas City before some basketball games.
Are you traveling on Saturday? What's your plan?
I am traveling on Saturday, so what time is kickoff?
Yeah, 5 p.m. here.
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay, we're good then?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I'll be back by the end of the game. I think I get here about 5. I think I land about 5.
You want to just do it in the Sunport? Just take over at that point?
Maybe.
Okay. Thank you to everybody as always. Thank you, Josh, for always tuning in. Thank you to everybody as always for producing our show for us, giving all great questions and all that as well. We love doing it every week. So,
what's this button do?
Whoa! What the?
Wow, that's a new thing.
Put that on.
Maybe I can start putting all your guys' comments there. Are you guys seeing that too, or is that just us?
I gotta think they're seeing it. I can make it
tall. I can make it wide. I can make the font medium, big.
Okay.
Guys, I'm hitting the end button. End stream. Do.